everybody, and welcome back to MoodTube. I'm your host, Paul Malamud. Well, folks, I'm not going to sugarcoat it this time. Last week really sucked for me. So we all know I was at the disaster at JetLife Stadium Sunday. I originally wanted to film this Sunday night so I could channel the raw emotion I was feeling. Then I remembered I'm a Jets fan, and I felt this so often that I can bring it back at the drop of a hat. The day started off great. You couldn't have asked for better December weather. The tailgate was awesome. The food was tasty. The beers were flowing. The football was flying. And my brother's car was serenading the parking lot to the sweet tunes of the Black Crowes, Allman Brothers, Bob Dylan, and more. Then came the actual game. And God was it painful. The offense was a joke in the first half, gaining only 45 total yards. But it wasn't that bad. We were only going to be down by a field goal at halftime. Oh wait, what's that? Geno throws an interception with 22 seconds left in the half. Still, not that bad. Only down by 6. There's plenty of time left for Chris Ivory to break a long one or for Big Mo to get a strip sack. Then came the start of the third quarter, and Matt Simms was the one standing next to Marty and not Geno. There's an obnoxious roar of approval when Simms ran onto the field, and I was not one of those fans cheering. From that moment on, the game just got horribly depressing. Bit by bit, I could feel my soul getting sucked out of me. Now, this wasn't like watching a train wreck where it's so bad it's actually entertaining. No, this was like being stuck in a room full of hungry West Nile mosquitoes and having to sit there while they suck the life out of you drop by drop. Back at the car tailgating our midgets away, all I could do was declare to my brother and friends the Jets players that were dead to me. Santonio Holmes, dead. Matt Simms, dead. Geno Smith, dead. Dee Milner, dead. Antonio Cromartie, dead. Ed Reed, dead. David Nelson, dead. Greg Salas, dead. It was a joke. Finally, while biting down on a delicious Nathan's hot dog, the lesson I've learned from my torturous existence on this earth as a sports fan came back to me. This is all preparation for the salvation that will one day come. My life as a Jets fan has been like being stuck on an elevator ride, going from hell to heaven. The elevator has a glass ceiling, so I can see all my friends dancing in heaven. But every time I get close to the kingdom in the clouds, the elevator malfunctions, and I fall back into the fire. No NFL fan group has had it close to as bad as Jets fans the past decade plus. Now, there's teams that have lost more games, but that's not what makes it painful. Not only have we had to watch our two biggest rivals win 5 out of the last 12 Super Bowls, but every single season, with the exception of one, has been an absolute tease. Either we start off hot and have an epic collapse, or we start off slow only to race back and fall just short. 2 years in a row, we got close enough to taste the Super Bowl, only to have epic failures in the AFC Championship games. And of course, those failures were in classic Jets fashion. The first year, we got off to a really hot start against the Colts in the first half, only to collapse in the second half. The second year against the Steelers, we were colder than ice, only to come racing back and fall just short. Well, Jets fans, this endless torture will not be in vain. It's always darkest before the dawn, and heaven doesn't taste as sweet if you've never been to hell. When the Jets finally win a Super Bowl, we'll be rewarded with a level of jubilation that our Giants and Patriots fan friends cannot understand. They can argue all they want that the happiness they felt when their teams won can only be equaled and not surpassed. But that simply isn't true. For evidence of this fact, we must only look at Alabama fans after this past weekend's Iron Bowl. If there's no difference in the level of joy felt from your team winning, then there's no difference in the depression felt when your team rips your heart out. I can deal with my Jets continuously stomping out my emotions because I'm used to it. But Alabama fans couldn't handle the devastation because they're so accustomed to winning. If it works one way for losing, it works the other way for winning. This proves that when the Jets finally make it back to the promised land, us gangreners will feel a level of joy that fans of other teams simply cannot understand. So Jets fans, I'm calling on you to remain faithful, that one day we will experience salvation. It may not seem like it right now, but this team is headed in the right direction. We do have a lot of holes, but we finally have a smart GM making the tough decisions. We're going to have a lot of draft picks this year in a year with one of the best draft classes ever. We will find the weapons we need. We will fix the offensive line. Our secondary struggles will be solved, and someday we will win the Super Bowl. It certainly isn't happening this year, and it likely won't happen next year. But we will stand atop the NFL mountain, and it will feel better than any team's fans have ever felt before. So stay faithful and stay true. Now for this week's Ask Moody. The one question comes from Tom Horgan out in Nebraska. His question is, with Mike Tomlin's fine, do you think he can jump out of the way of a hot seat in Pittsburgh, as well as Tom from college jumped out of the way of Ryan Ross' tendency to bend over his students? Well, Tom from college, there's not a chance that anybody can jump out of the way better than you jumped out of the way of Ryan Ross' wrath. Your ability to get in trouble and then somehow escape unscathed is unfathomable. But, having said that, Mike Tomlin's not on a hot seat. He's a great coach. He's had great years in Pittsburgh. And this bad season and that fine is not going to get him fired. Sure, he absolutely did it on purpose, but he's paying the price. And I'm sure that he would have gladly paid the price if it meant his team had actually won the game. So, no, Mike Tomlin's not on the hot seat. Now for this week's game picks. The first game I'm going with is the Chiefs -3 over the Redskins. The Chiefs have lost 3 in a row, but they're going to get things back on track this week against the Redskins. The Redskins are just not a good football team right now. They almost were able to beat the Giants, but, I mean, that's not that great. The Chiefs are going to come out, and I think they're going to steamroll this one. And even with an injured defense, they are going to shut the Redskins down. I'm taking the Chiefs and getting 3 points. The second game I like is the Chargers giving up 3 over the Giants. Now, the Giants have looked good the last few weeks. And they barely lost to the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. But they barely beat the Redskins. The Giants, this is just not their year. The Chargers, they're fighting to stay alive in the playoff race. They lost a tough one to the Bengals, who are a great team. I'm taking the Chargers, winning this one by more than 3. The third game I'm going with is the Cowboys getting 2 points over the Bears. Both teams are fighting to stay alive in the playoff race. The Cowboys have a much better chance than the Bears. I think that it's going to be a great game, action-packed, high-scoring, but the Cowboys are going to take this one. They've got more things going for them. DeMarco Murray is running well, and Tony Romo is going to get his passing game back on track. I'm taking the Cowboys getting 2 points. The fourth game I'm going with is the Steelers giving up 4 points over the Dolphins. The Dolphins look great against the Jets, but it's almost impossible not to these days. The Steelers lost a hard-fought game to the Ravens. Both of those teams are better than the Dolphins this year, and the Steelers are going to come out and prove it. I think the Steelers are going to take this one, and they're going to crawl back into one game of the last wildcard spot. Unfortunately for them, the Ravens have it, and they've got the tiebreaker. The last game I'm going with is the Lions, getting 2.5 points over the Eagles. This is going to be another great game in Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is now on a home winning streak of 2. But I don't think that they will have an answer for Megatron. It's going to be a high-scoring affair, but in the end, I just think that Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford are going to be too much. I'm taking the Lions, getting 2.5 points on the road. You might be asking why I'm not giving you fantasy advice. Well, it's playoff time. I'm not going to give away my secrets. And if you're in the playoffs and you can't figure it out on your own, well, that's your problem. Thanks for tuning in. That's it. So that's it for this week's episode of MoodTube. Thanks for tuning in. See you all next week. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the tube, because you got to see Mood.